Welcome back to the Win with Dice podcast, a podcast featuring members of the Win with Dice team. I'm Calvin, and I'm joined here by Ramon.
Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. It's episode 60. Wow.
Yeah, look at us. 60
that number
episodes.
That number is way too high. If you're just joining us, this is a podcast all about playing tabletop RPGs and running them, where we, demystify the behind the DM screen as much as we can. So, we can get more people behind that DM screen and run their own games. We do it. It's part of our hobby, and we love it, and it's fun, and it's a little bit less daunting than you actually are thinking of if you're on the fence about it.
Yeah.
I think that everybody should try DMing. It's tons of fun, even if it's just one time. It's definitely, I think, pretty rewarding. So, yeah, that's why we're here.
You definitely appreciate playing more if you try DMing as well. Yeah, Ramon, you just described the entire podcast. You took away my lines.
Nice. It's always a good time when I take away your lines.
No. So we are fresh off of a stream of the finale of the first season of our Lancer campaign. Still somewhat untitled, by the way. Maybe we can think of a title as we go into season 2. But we've had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, season 2 actually has a title. Well, in my head. It's so dumb. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I said it a whole bunch, but
we can reveal it like later, like when we actually start, or maybe
reveal it later.
A hint in this episode. Ooh, okay. All right. So yeah, we're definitely wanted to talk about that. Just sort of recap everything that went on and kind of discuss the last 8 sessions of our game. Of course, Ramon said everything this podcast is about. So if you want to know more about it and listen to more episodes, just hit that subscribe button. Ring the bell notification so you get a notification when we go live or when we upload a new episode, and check us out on Twitter. With all the formalities out of the way, let's get into the Win with Dice weekly GM tip of the week, brought to you by Ramon and Calvin. I almost forgot the name of it, I think, because I didn't do it last week.
Oh, yes, the Win with Dice weekly GM tip of the week. So this week, I kind of wanted to talk about something a little more creatively instead of like more mechanically, I guess. But the tip I wanted to send out there to you GMs is, if you have a crazy idea, like, go for it. Like, throw whatever, something that's so offbeat or like left field into your games or your story or your plot. Just do it, man. I think that it'll make your game more unique. Just kind of like break all the rules too. Just my advice to you guys is just because there's structure to like a pre-written adventure, that doesn't mean that you have to follow that. The way that monsters are laid out in your monster manual or your alien archives or whatever. Don't worry about that. This game is all about just, interpreting, interpreting and reimagining your internal world, and like your players are there to riff off of. Everyone's riffing off each other. It's kind of like a cool, good space to kind of just do some stuff. And most times games are resolved with like a dice roll, either a high one or a low one, right? So don't even get so worried about the math. As long as you and your friends are having fun, you're doing a good job. And as long as your friends are into whatever kind of weird kooky ideas you come up to, then everyone's having a good time. And even if they're not, they're still gonna be like, wow, that was really interesting. So yeah, don't be afraid to to skew from like the whole like I guess Dungeons and Dragons. Maybe the dragons are the good guys.
as we've stated many times before, and those evil roving princesses. Yeah, that's definitely like, just do the thing, because like I think everybody out there has some sort of unique idea. I think every person is capable of being creative. There's just some roadblocks in the way, whether it be time, opportunity. But if there's one thing that hopefully we can eliminate from people, and that hopefully people can eliminate from themselves, it's just that feeling of like, is this a good idea? Is this not? Like the hesitancy of it. Just give it a try. You're probably gonna find more success doing things than not doing things.
Yeah, and honestly, like you can just edit it on the fly. Like so many times, you just kind of like in the moment, you're like, maybe I made this too hard, or maybe this is too weird, or maybe I literally forgot I forgot to make up a name for an NPC. Just roll with it, man. Yeah,
Yeah, it's good
yeah.
practice.
That's the straight tip for you guys. Pretty chill. You know, pretty. I guess 60s hippies like just go with the flow kind of attitude, but it works.
I don't know about all that, but yeah, okay.
It's all good, man. I kind of want to play a hippie character now. It'd be awesome. Kind of want it.
Well, let's just groove on into the episode, Ramon. So recently, today, as of recording, Sunday, as of uploading, we finished off the finale, I guess, of the first season of our Win with Dice actual play Lancer RPG stream, which we've been doing for a few months now. We had a bunch of friends in there to play along with us, and maybe we can get them on for an episode at some point. But yeah, we played through a few episodes. We had I think it was 3 different missions, and yeah, I guess we could just get into it. Let's talk about the most recent episode first, and then maybe we can go over the whole thing.
Yeah. So, did you want to start from what actually happened in the last session, or did you want to talk about the mission as overall?
Well, yeah, let's describe the mission overall, just in case people who are listening to this may not have heard all of it or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
We come down to
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we the players were sent to help out a planet where their water was being stolen. This planet is it's covered in a shallow ocean or a shallow sea, and it's almost kind of like a vacation resorty kind of planet. Everyone there kind of moves a little bit slower. A lot of people are retired cosmopolitans, as you will, or veterans and stuff, would just spend their twilight years just kind of hanging out here. So the population's super low, and therefore the theft opportunity is pretty high. So these privateers, these mercenaries, these bad guys showed up and installed kind of this giant space tower, like an orbital lift mechanism to kind of draw all the water from the oceans or the seas and pull it and then sell it, I guess. The more I learn about real science, the more I'm this doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't have to. I mean, giant robots don't make sense. NHPs are basically magic, so
that is true. Get into that Clarkian tech, you know what I mean? So anyway, these guys are stealing the water. It's totally bad for the environment. Also, the resort life, it would be kind of sucky if all their water was gone. Then it wouldn't be a cool breezy island world, right? So the players showed up and teamed up with an old captain called if I can remember his name,
Reginald Bartholomew Gunnar, captain of
Reginald.
The BS Anistar.
BS Anistar, yes. So he was the one who actually called you guys up and was requested you guys to join their little gang to try and basically blow up the space tower. Because actually, I don't know if I mentioned it, but those guys are actually being funded, but they can't afford to build a giant space tower on their own. So someone is paying them to literally install it and watch it and take all the water. But I guess you guys never really interacted with any of the bad guys because you guys are so strong. All the players just demolished all of my NPCs. I don't think you guys are even afraid at any moment.
I was.
Sad times for. Well, I mean, I guess the stoicness of, or the way that Magenta Orangutan just didn't care what was going on made me feel that everybody was pretty safe.
He is safe. I don't know about me.
That's true. So yeah, it was basically the first encounter was them literally touching down and smashing an invading force of these privateers to let the resistance kind of regroup. And then they spent a week collecting a bunch of extra gear, fixing up the Anti-Star because it was in really bad shape. Gearing up with like, I think you guys did a bunch of stuff to get like, some cool equipment that I kind of not improv, but like made up on the fly. Like, you guys got a cool Atlas missile that was like, basically a big continental missile that just had like a really big explosion. You guys got some targeting equipment, which you guys actually never used. So maybe I'll reward that. I'll put it on the ship. Your actual spaceship, and maybe you guys can use it at some point when you're battling in space or something near it.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of cool. Also, you guys got some cool other stuff to help you, like heal your ship, heal your mechs, and the crew was there, as well as you guys met some cool, quirky NPCs. I think they were quirky. I don't know. They're kind of weird. There's a bunch of weirdos living on like an island resort, so there was like
Nars, Garth, and Altrof.
Yeah, Nars, who was like this kind of stocky, short dwarf-like gentleman who had like a really big mech that got blown up immediately in like the first real fight. Hailtrav, who showed everybody that you can still deflect bullets with your imaginary sword, and Garth, who was basically Guy Fieri if he was a mech pilot.
Yeah. I like to imagine he was helping us, because we did like pull up the carcass of a kraken after a fight, so I like to imagine he was helping us fry that up, after the big battle.
Yeah. And you guys actually fought the BS Narashura. Was like, you guys fought a ship. You guys played Battleship for a little bit, which was kind of cool. You guys were blindsided a little bit from this short cycle lance on this battleship, and then you guys were facing off against it, which I think you guys actually did pretty well. I don't remember anybody really getting wrecked. I remember that Osiris, the NHP Osiris, did a lot of damage to these poor people.
Yeah.
I don't think you guys realize that this is like an organization. Like, you guys mowed through like 50 dudes, 50 mech pilots who were like, aren't like, terrible at their job, but you guys are only 4 dudes.
I mean, I think we were highly motivated. They were just like being bad guys. In another situation where I could have negotiated with them, I mean, I might have tried.
Listen, they were here to do a job, all right? And,
okay. Good excuse. Well, so were we.
But yeah, screw that. You blew up their battleship. You demolished, like, all of their men. And, but, they still had the numbers on their side, so you guys would get overwhelmed. So the plan was to go through, this hurricane, this big hurricane that like constantly is kind of rolling around this planet because it's like mostly water, right? But the hurricane was in a position where it was in between you and the space straw, as we called it, and so the idea was to go navigate through the hurricane, which is a giant world hurricane, you can see, and navigate through it, and then underneath the cloak of the storm, get to the geothermal plants that was actually powering the space straw, and basically destroy those, and then the space straw would blow up probably. That was the plan. So you guys made it through. You also because you got was attacked by the Narashira, the other ship. You guys had your navigations damaged, and you guys found yourself in the I would say, what would we call it? Not the hunting grounds, but like the territory of a bunch of nesting grounds. The nesting grounds for a bunch of giant sea monster krakens.
Yeah, which we had to deal with.
Yeah, which was pretty fun actually. Again, another custom mission kind of deal where the players they were all able to move the ship like they were all on top of the ship. So whatever they did, they just used the ship space, which is kind of like a size 7 object. And so every turn, each player can move their ship with their standard movement. The movement would go that many spaces. But then, if there was a Kraken like attached to the ship or like adjacent to it, everybody had to make a save as it tried to rock everybody off. And then there was a bunch of stormy seas, and they had to make hull checks to not get sucked into the whirlpools that were like generating around there, and they would take damage as they get battered around. And it was pretty cool. Actually, I think it was one of my favorite encounters so far, because there were some funny moments where people just getting yeeted and then just climbing back onto the ship just to get yeeted again. Yeah. But yeah, after, pushing through, you guys, massacred like four of my Krakens, or three of my Krakens, I think. I think it was only three of them I used. You guys made it through, and because you guys passed that mission, you were able to get basically, I gave you guys a free turn while you guys had to get to the last encounter where you were to destroy 4 of these geothermal plants that had like some HP, and they were counted as buildings or objects or whatever. So that was the whole combat. It was like the whole mission was to, or the win condition was destroy all 4 of those things. And yeah, so you guys were free to go. You guys used your mag rail launchers to get you guys some extra speed. The map was actually pretty big. I think it was like 50. It might have been 50 squares by 50 squares. I don't remember. But it was a very large map, so it gave you guys a little extra speed. Yeah, you guys found out that the base was they actually put like grunt assaults, like robot grunt assaults, which are not like I guess the traditional, like if you chose the grunt template plus like the robot template. I forget what the acronym is for, but it's like, I think it's, but like basically one gives them, say that they can't make complicated maneuvers, and also like they have difficulty at doing everything, and the other one is as a grunt, so they only take 1 damage. So like honestly, like I could have ran it this way, but I basically kind of merged it to be a little bit more in between from being like a regular assault. So I just took off like the amount of attack they had, I took off their reaction, and I didn't do anything else like, locking on or invading. I just they just move forward and shoot the gun because they're just robots, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I thought it was fair. It was mostly like, okay, so we can get into a little bit more of like the encounter design for that one. But so, as you guys were attacking these facilities, they would pop out and then get a turn to act, which complicated things. But you guys actually blasted through they all had, like, all of the facilities had like 30 hit points. I brought it down from like 40 because we were missing a player the last session, which was kind of sad. I wanted to go out with everybody, but that's okay. Life happens. But yeah, I don't know. You dropped the Atlas missile on one, basically just like doing half of its HP. It took Sparks a couple turns, but her and Sekhmet destroyed one on their own. Corey, like in one round, took out like half of the HP with a lucky crit with like max damage. And like Steven playing a Barbosa, I had like I thought you guys would do it. I just thought it would be closest to the end because, Barbosa blowing up buildings, his core power is to do 100 damage to a building, right?
Right.
It was way overkill. And so, yeah, you guys made it through. Some reinforcements did come, but they really didn't do much. I think they had like one round of doing something. It was mostly just like, how quickly can you guys destroy these things before getting overwhelmed by the assault grunts? That was essentially what that mission was. Yeah.
And
which was,
sorry. No, I was just gonna say, like, it did feel, I mean, I don't know, I felt a bit worried, especially when the backup arrived, because they were all for one on my side of the map, and for two, I wasn't fully in control of my mech at the time. So there was a bit of tension. I definitely felt nervous going into it, knowing we had to do like all that damage, like 120 damage, to deal with these things and do it in 6 rounds. But I guess, I didn't really know what everyone else was capable of, because I was looking at what I could do and I was like, I don't know if I can do that. But that's why we have this team.
That's true. Everyone's a specialist, right? So Barbosa is there to basically punch holes into starships or whatever, like buildings, cover, it doesn't matter, just get it out of here. Like Yeah, because Steven charged it up. He put the charge up to 3, so he basically like nuked a city block. Like I'm pretty sure I just deleted the facility and just put fires around it because I was like, eh. And the range of it was so far too, right? Like I honestly didn't really measure it. I was just like, kind of put it where it looked cool, right? And I was like, oh, this will be fun, right?
Right.
But yeah, it turns out Barbosa is strong. Who knew? Although I did structure Steven, which I haven't done that yet in the mission, so I was pretty proud of myself.
Yeah, he took enough damage to have some actual like effects on him.
Yeah,
which is just very rare for what he does.
It's true. He
standing far away and having heavy armor.
Yeah, and I finally got to him. Turns out I just had to use 16 assaults to do it. Yeah, but that was you guys did it. There was a cool, spectacular chain reaction explosion as it rippled up the thing. Everyone had to evacuate because the actual I guess geothermal area was unstable, and there was lots of volcanic and activity, and the space straw is out of commission feasibly, and you guys are really there to just buy time and destroy the space straws because they can't rebuild it by the time Union officials show up and start kind of policing the area and getting those guys out of here, right?
Right.
Yeah, so we kind of ended things with a cool barbecue by Guy Fieri, Garth.
Yeah.
Barbecuing one of those some Kraken calamari, and you got to hang out with some more of the locals there at the end. And then
either Danza Kuduro or Bandoleros playing in the background, depending on which Fast and Furious movie you're thinking of.
Oh yeah. And then Vanzel, right before you guys left, asked you to just check something out. A ship that was sunk on the planet before you guys left. So you guys did. You geared up in your EVA suits and swam your way down to the ship, and you guys found that the ship was pretty old, obviously crashed and sunk, so there's full of water, except when you started swimming through the corridors to try and navigate. The idea was to try and see if there's any sort of records or any sort of information that you can salvage from it. And as you guys kind of moved around the ship, you guys found out that it was actually a part of
Omega Light Communications.
Yes, it was a Megalite communication ship, which you guys found out that at the beginning, at the very first mission where you guys were trying to assist North Star in figuring out how one of their shipping lanes was being targeted, found that some pirates took over an old communications relay hub around a Saturn-like gas giant and was using the fragmented near Cascade NHP to send basically ghost signals into their ship and getting them to basically drop out of sublight drive to around the planet so they can strip the ships and steal their stuff. This was a crazy complicated plan they had.
Like most pirates, apparently.
Yeah, right. But the communications stuff was Omega Light communications, the old place. So that was interesting. Maybe there's something linked there.
I don't know.
I don't know. Probably. I probably am saying that because I'm the GM and I know.
Yeah, we have to learn it. We have to figure it out.
Yeah, but to what extent, you don't know how far the rapid hole does go. So now you guys found it. So anyway, you guys found the ship, and you guys realized that for some reason, it feels like as you guys kind of move forward, you feel like the water just kind of stopped. Right, and you guys were able to kind of walk into dry land, a dry area of the ship, as well as you guys got closer and closer to where they would house their ship NHP, where the casket is. That the ship actually got was looking less and less damaged, as well as you could even see some of the power was still on. As you guys actually got to the room with the casket, the lights were on fully, but except there was through the crack there's this jarred door. Through the cracks you could see light and this kind of rainbow glitter particle effect kind of fluttering into the hallway, into where you are from the crack. So you guys pry the door open, and then you guys saw a room full of liches.
Yeah.
Which I hope was a cool reveal.
It was super confusing. I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know liches were a thing.
Was super funny because Stevens was just like, nope, I'm going home. So yeah, you guys, there was all these like gangly, floating, terrifying looking mechs in this actually relatively small room for the amount of size 1 mechs that were just kind of floating in there. As I kind of mentioned, that space itself, you see like these things are actually the same size they are, but the space around them is distorted, so they're able to like actually like take up less, like be in that room, because the space that they actually take up is bigger but in a smaller space than your perspective. You know, it's kind of weird. It's weird space magic stuff. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, some Doctor Who stuff. And
some Doctor Who stuff, right?
Mako just started blasting right away.
Yeah, Mako didn't even make it. I don't think I said anything. I think Corey just rolled the gun button that he has. So he applied gun to the situation, and then that prompted everyone to kind of open up fire because as like, you know, I described the room as having like these weird nodes that's like giving off this like you know, the crazy particle effect, as well as these metallic microfilaments kind of running all over the place. And you know, obviously there was one who looked like the leader of the liches and was like, oh shit, people. And you guys open up fires, but except your rounds, your actual ammunition that you guys shot, kind of got distorted and kind of like almost felt like they were traveling like an infinite distance. But then all of the right before it was about to hit one of the liches, like it just raised its hand and all the bullets went back into your guns, like a kind of reverse time almost.
Yep.
Which thoroughly freaked everybody out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. How are you supposed to fight that?
I was like, damn it. So, and then they just kind of yeeted out of there. They used their space magic to just kind of like, they kind of like opened up these black geometric shapes out of thin air and started just sinking into them, kind of menacingly, as well as before then. They looked like they were like they were like twisting and contorting like the I guess the NHP that was still here, you know, twisting and contorting it to doing what ends. But then they also sunk it into the blackness that they came, I guess they're leaving through. But right before as they were departing, you guys could hear water rushing in, as in like maybe time actually started to flow again a little bit here, and all of the electronics and like the actual building itself was starting to look like it was aging rapidly. Even the microfilaments on the ground were actually corroding and then turning into rust and then straight into dust even before they all left. And
yeah, we attempted to grab something on our way out. Like, we couldn't stop them from taking that NHP, but we tried to get like a hard drive or something on the way out before we got flooded.
Yeah, so I think it was Mako was able to like get through all of the space magic stuff and was able to get to a terminal and was able to take some physical hard drives away before like the water came in and then time kind of caught up to the place. And yeah, you guys are thoroughly freaked out. And then you guys, we smash cut to you guys being back at Sandry Home Base, which is the corporation that these guys are work for. That's where they get their missions from. And Vanzel, Gunnar, who is your handler essentially, brings you into her office and was like, hey, by the way, that shit you saw, that was legit. This is some weird stuff, and I need you guys to become secret agents now. So now everyone works for, I guess they accepted because, you know, we're playing a game, but everyone accepted that they're now undercover agents for the UBI.
Was it UBI?
Like the Union, yeah, UBI. So it's Union Bureau of Investigations.
I thought it was UIB.
It's kind of I don't remember. let me open up the Lancer book. Go to the thing. Oh my god, acronyms are the worst. I don't even know why I chose to choose to speak English. Let's go to the Departments of Union. I think it's the UBI, or is it the UIB? All I know, it's like some real Men in Black stuff.
Yeah,
like,
it's
nobody knows who
FBI,
exists,
but in Lancer.
Yeah, essentially. I guess it is the FBI, but like even more secret.
Ooh.
Like super.
Yeah, if I recall,
secret.
it's not even like public knowledge. There's even people within the Union that don't know it exists.
It's most people in Union don't know it exists. Only people that know it exists is like, it's like Central, the Central Committee, which is like Union's like the the commanding force of Union, like the actual I guess the Union Congress. I don't know what kind of central government it is, but it's like the party heads of all the parties that make up Union all kind of yell at each other until something gets done. Knows about. It's the UIB, exactly. The Union Intelligence Bureau, which the Union Intelligence Bureau. So yeah, you guys. Turns out the Sandry is actually a kind of what would it kind of be? I think it would be considered a
front corporation that they use for recruiting.
Yeah, it's like a recruiting corporation. So they don't get like direct information from like the missions that you guys go on aren't actually from Forecast. Like they're not sending you to investigate stuff that like Galsum has figured out, but they just send you to all sorts of missions, all sorts of different scenarios, and see if you can figure it out, and be Lancers, essentially, be the heroes. And if you guys prove to be the heroes, then you guys are right for the recruiting into the UIB. I should have had sticky notes like everywhere. That's the problem. Because words are horrible for me. That's like my problem. So I always forget people's names and acronyms and all that jazz. Next time I'm gonna use stickers. That should be tip secret
super
secret second. Yeah, super secret second Woman Dice tip of the week. Use a lot of post-it notes and stuff, or like have something in front of you with all of like the list of names and things so you can easily reference it. I used to do that a lot when when we were playing physically, but I think since we're using a bunch of screens and having to tab through them all the time, I've stopped, but I need to get back into it, and probably sticky notes is the way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, in general, just write down the stuff that you think you're not going to remember in the moment. Like, that's at least what I do. Like, if I know I'm going to forget something, I'll just make sure it's written somewhere.
Yeah.
Especially, like, if it's per session thing.
So, yeah. That's it. That was the end. Season 1. I keep thinking of Lancer as, like, seasons, like a TV show. I think that's the best way for me to, instead of being, like, chapters like I would do for, like, fantasy, I think of Lancer as, like, a TV series in my head, I guess.
Yeah, it works. Especially because we're showing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess so. The next season is going to be us sort of dealing with all the UIB stuff and whatever the heck those things were. Because if this is like a Lancer lore thing that I'm supposed to know, I sure don't know it. Like, I don't know what the hell I was looking at there. That's why, like, Hitomi was still, like, super confused and, like, explain, please. But
yeah. Well, no one's gonna explain anything at the end of the season. They'll keep it for next season.
Oh, of course.
But because this is the post show, all you cool listeners out there can get a little bit behind the screen, and I won't spoil anything for you, Calvin, too much. This is just kind of, if you just read The Lich, you would just know this one. It's just in the entry. Nope. But the idea of the Lich is that they're like all the Lich frames are from the future, so they have a lot of time powers. So actually the Lich's ability is able to kind of like pin themselves in a location in space-time. So, and when they get destroyed or take a structure, they can just revert back and negate all that damage and go back to that spot. The idea is that like, they have like some weird time manipulation stuff,
like save scumming, basically.
Yeah, they have their frame trait is save scumming. It's pretty cool. I think the Lich might be the next mech I actually use because you can pull off some funny ass shit with it.
Okay, well that's a bit of a hint as to what might be going on. So yeah, I think maybe we'll do more like stealthy mission-y stuff, like our second mission, sort of infiltrating that base, which was a pretty fun one. So I don't know what you have planned, but maybe we'll do more stuff like that. I did sort of want to get into, if you want to just talk about encounter design for this encounter or any other ones, if there was any particular thing you wanted to like point out in regards to it. Because I feel like, again, Lancer is really good at like different kinds of goals for your encounter. Mm-hmm. So I guess like what goes into designing, like, okay, I know I want the players to destroy X amount of targets. So where do you go from there once you decide the type of thing to do?
Oh yeah, so like, I mean, I know that there's a lot of traits in Lancer to destroy like that interacts with objects, right? Like a lot of them, like especially the Barbossa's core power, right? To just the Apocalypse Rail Cannon. Like its real strength is like actually punching holes into buildings and structures, because like, you know, doing 100 damage to a thing sounds awesome, but you never really get to do that, right? Like when are you ever gonna fire at a ship or like you attack a building specifically, right? Obviously, like you, like if the GM is responsible to putting the stuff in front of the players so they can feel cool and feel valued, right? So I kind of really tried that for this one, because I found that like when you're just shooting the Apocalypse Rail, like sometimes you just miss and it kind of sucks. Sometimes you roll minimum amount of damage, so you shoot this giant gun, but you're like, you're rolling 4d6 I guess at that point, but you could also just roll 4 ones. More than likely you won't, but also you probably won't kill the thing too. It kind of all depends what you're firing at, right?
Right.
So I was like, let's put some buildings as objectives, and even let's make some buildings some enemies, right? Because that's the whole point of the battleship. Like I was like, this thing needs to be an enemy that people can target, right? But also it needs to be, because it's big enough to be an actual like small size ship, I think it should actually count as like an object, so Steven could use his Apocalypse Rail on it, right? Like in all actuality, the ship had like I don't remember how much HP, but it was like over 100 and something. It was like 120 or something like that, right? If Steven just charged his Apocalypse Rail Cannon for 3 turns and then fired at the ship, right? The ship would basically be dead, right? Like,
yeah, but yeah, so like charge for 3 turns, which is, I mean, probably he can handle it because he's going to be again far away and have heavy armor, but yeah,
right. So that was kind of the idea of using these buildings as the objectives, using these buildings as the thing, as well as I tried to use like alternative objectives than just like wipe the map. So like I know the first encounter that we used for that mission was it was a holdout, so don't let the enemies get there, but I think you guys were basically just annihilating them anyway. There was no risk of you guys really not being able to complete the mission. But I always had the caveat of like, if you just blew up the team leader or like whatever, then they would just leave, right? So if you blew, like, you don't have to beat, I don't think you guys even beat everybody, even though like you guys, I think, left like 1 person alive. I think out of all of that, it was like 1 cataphract who was like bothering Steven for a little bit after you guys destroyed everybody and then destroyed the Neuroshira. You like literally decimated these people. Like there's, or annihilated, I think the word would be more likely. So I thought you guys would just pour all your efforts into taking out the ship, but you guys actually dismantled the whole operation like the monsters you are.
Well, I mean, they're stealing water. Like again, I don't know. This is the most evil thing we ever saw.
That was always my thing too. I love it when you guys are so strong, because you guys definitely feel like bad guys, man. Like.
Well, from their perspective, maybe.
Oh yeah, every person's perspective. I think now you guys are just gonna seem like a bunch of bad guys. But yeah, so yeah, even the whole I push a lot of boundaries this one too. Well, not boundaries, but like just changing up the whole like how encounters work, right? Like the whole versus the Krakens thing, where like you guys are actually just kind of piloting the ship. It was kind of like a not almost reverse, but a different take on the escort mission, right? Because I use most of the escort rules except that like everybody's still on the ship too, right? So, you know, so to me it was like the anti-star can only move as fast as like the amount of things on there, right? So technically if Steven wasn't on the ship could still move really, really fast, right? Even without him. But that little 2 inches to 2 spaces that he was able to move the ship by was like accounting his weight, essentially. That was like my reasoning for it. I was like, oh yes, this makes total sense. Even though I didn't really have to. I mean, it's a game, right? It's like everybody was like on board with it as soon as I told them so. You know, there was no issue there, but yeah. I had to like figure it out for myself just in case somebody asks like how this is working.
Yeah, I mean, even if players don't ask things, sometimes it's just nice to have that information in your back pocket, just in case, you know, have it and not need it.
Yeah. Well, also I threw out the last encounter. I was gonna have like just a regular enemies, but then I was like, I think it'd be better if like I kind of get you guys in a little bit of a trap. So, and I had to justify like how I can hide enemies just in the dirt without you guys noticing. And I was like, robot automated defenses. So then I was like, it would be better if it was like a race against time, like destroy these buildings before the automated defenses destroy you, and then some reinforcements would come, right? And it was mostly kind of like that. Because I didn't expect you guys. I think you would do like maybe a third of the HP or half of an HP of a one of those structures, and then the bots would wake up. You take a volley of damage, and maybe Steven would clear them out because with like a grenade or like a, you know, they were basically there just to slow you down, like maybe give you another target. But then you guys just decided saying, nope, I'm just gonna not even target these guys. I'm just going to work on the mission at hand, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. For me, I was like, I can probably take some of this. And if I stand somewhere where I get a bit of cover, then I'm more likely to, you know, even though they're like guaranteed to get 2 damage on me, I was at least able to like mitigate that in some ways. So yeah, you know, I mean, like that's just the tactics of the game. Like it wasn't, well, I'll rush forward and start beating on these guys. It was, how do I manipulate myself so that I can most effectively complete the target? You know, run the objective.
Yeah, which is pretty fun. Even though you guys still. I mean, Steven had a field day. I think he had a good time. Just like this was like his element. It was like stay at a high place, finding a group of enemies and just kind of blowing up them and their homes.
They're robots. They don't have homes.
Beep boop. I'm so sad.
So something I was wondering is sort of like how you feel you may have, I guess, developed as a Lancer GM. As time has gone on, like whether in regards to either narrative or your encounter design or how you run encounters, like do you feel like you've changed in any way or you've just like gotten better at it with practice?
I think I've gotten a little bit better at it. I'm not 100% sure. I still feel like there's so much more for me to learn about DMing in this game. As I play in more games and I get, you know, I'm still like in awe of like a whole bunch of DMs being like, I don't understand how you're so good at this. So, you know, I still got a little bit to go for sure. But yeah, no, I'm a little bit more confident. I feel like, I think as far as like designing encounters and story, I think if I set up like maybe one encounter to be good for, or like, I don't have to worry too much as long as like the objective or like the idea of the encounter kind of favors one of you guys. Right? Like if it's like a close quarters thing, then like, you know, you would be fine with it, right? Whatever that favors one of the, if the encounter favors one of the characters, I can just make it as hard or as easy as I want. I don't have to think about it too hard in terms of like, you know, numbers or whatever, right? That's kind of like what I figured out. Also, I learned that like, you know, if you have a bunch of like, don't have a lot of friendly player NPCs on the board on top of trying to run a whole bunch of other NPCs at the same time. I think sticking to 1 or 2, like maybe 2 is too much, but like 1 definitely is okay.
Yeah.
Because like it gets overwhelming fast, especially when like you're trying to run up to like 6 NPCs trying to figure them out, and then like sometimes you're rolling against yourself, and it's all sorts of blah.
Is that like would that have been easier if you had given it to like another player to deal with? Because that's something that I would consider doing. I think I did it before in a Starfinder game like a billion years ago, where it was like, okay, you control this guy because I'm dealing with like a new enemy build that I'm not used to.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, would it have been easier to just
Yeah, for sure. But I think at the time, I just didn't like, because Lancer isn't like they were a little bit more complicated to use and I had to explain to somebody, and like because we're not physically at the table where I could just be like, just roll some dice or whatever, right? I had to make the buttons work for you guys too. It was not, I don't think it was good, and it actually just slowed down the game a lot. I found that like, I know that was a little bit of a complaint that we had in the big ship near Shira versus the Anistar battle, where Steven was like, it takes a very long time for things to get back to his turn, especially somebody who's using like a reload weapon, where like you're just kind of like you basically do everything every other turn, and if your turn to get back to your turn takes like 15 minutes, that could be like 30 minutes of you not really doing anything, which kind of sucks as a player. So I learned to like keep the players, like get the players in the action and make sure that they keep taking their turns and it goes by quickly. That's kind of what I want to keep up the pace of that. So I don't think I'm going to be using lots of NPCs in combat, like actually physically in combat. I think it would be cooler if maybe I use them as like a narrative moment in combat, right? Like maybe if you're able to get like a bunch of NPC mech pilots on your side, they'll come in, they'll drop in, do some damage, but then like I'll do some rolls and see if they can just land some shots, or maybe narratively they'll slow down the enemy reinforcements for you, right? Something like that.
So more like a bonus than an on-field character.
Exactly. I think that's the way I want to do it. I think that other GMs can totally do whatever they want. But for me, it's like, I think I tend to roll with a lot more NPCs on the board when I'm playing, and I'm always trying to, and they always make them a little bit complicated. So I want to like bring it down for my ease of play.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. What about like writing and stuff? Like, I was gonna ask, like, how do you feel? Like, do you take notes differently? Do you plan different things for narrative moments, for RP moments, or like what information you need to give to people?
Yeah, that's the tough one. I don't think I've had because lines are still really new to me, and like playing in this kind of sci-fi space. It feels like there's like, I need to give everybody lots more information. I can't just like wash it out with like, this is Fantasyland logic, right? So I just feel like there's like, I need to figure out more stuff when I'm planning out like my plots and all that stuff. Like honestly, originally the Win with Dice Lancer stream was just going to be kind of episodic. There wasn't really going to be a storyline. It was just kind of like, go do the cool mission because we're just playing Lancer for fun, or we're just hanging out with our friends. But then Joel, one of our players, mentioned like it'd be nice if like there was a little bit more story, or there was a little bit more deeper stuff. So I was like, okay, I'll try and kind of finagle this all together, because originally all these missions, they're all separate. To be honest, they're all separate. I guess storylines. They weren't actually interconnecting. So they were just cool ideas I had, and I was like, this would be pretty awesome. I made all these kind of cool little different colored groups. You realized one was red, one was blue, one was green, and I was like, oh yes. This will be the excellent start. Make them all the same color. They're all an organization. I went from like, who are the bad guys? How do they function? To then what would their bad guy operandum be? And then be like, okay, then how are the players gonna help this situation? Yeah. So
I think additionally it helped that there was like really so much positive feedback on the stream itself, because like there was certainly like more desire, more energy to be put into like improving things where we could. Like I was definitely trying to make the stream look good. I got the whole music playlist We got our own little theme song, which I might edit into this episode. Nice. Yeah, it's just, I really appreciate like all the people who always come out and watch, especially like the more recent episodes, because I feel like all around, like things just improved in there in terms of like episode quality, in terms of like what we were doing in the session and stuff like that, just getting used to the characters and things. I think we definitely are better compared to our first episode, compared to our like 8th episode. Like we're definitely better all around.
I know, it's always the issue, right? Like, you're always kind of shit the first time you do something, which is like good life advice in general. Like, you're always going to be shit at the thing you try and do the first time, and as you keep doing it with practice and things just kind of get better, and you'll just have more fun with it, man. Like, I was pretty nervous the first time we streamed, but now I'm a little bit more better with it, and I'm having a lot more fun with it. Like, I actually really like chat now.
Yeah.
Before it was cool. I was like, oh no, is people gonna care? But it's really fun hearing. It's almost fun seeing like the live commentary of like, you would talk to somebody about the game and they would like tell you, but it's like all live, and it's pretty cool. I like the streaming their game. But yeah, so now I had to plot this narrative through line, which I kind of set up a little bit beforehand with during everyone's downtime. So in between the missions, I just kind of gave like, you can pick up a little bits of information, but then I would put it as like, oh, it's encrypted, or you would have to put downtime resources into kind of figuring it out, making some phone calls, doing some research, actually like decoding this or repairing this encrypted file or whatever, right? So that's where Joel found out the name of the Omega Light Communications, right? So then it's like, I'll add them into the party sheet, I guess I have it as, right? I don't forget what I actually called it.
Like the personal player notes for what everyone was doing on downtime.
Right, yeah, the personal player notes. So, I broke it up into like what mysteries you guys are looking into, who are your allies that you can call upon, what resources that you guys have, right, as a player character. And I like putting it all onto the one document so everybody can see what everybody else has. So, if they want to collaborate, or, they're like, hey, wait a minute, I think I need your help because you're actually looking at the same thing I'm looking at. Because, that's kind of the fun part about Lancer 2 is that there's a more heavily emphasis on downtime, which is like, what your character wants to do while they're not being a badass mech pilot, which is kind of nice. That's where I found to be the best way for me to seed like all the little plot threads that like I can use to kind of connect all of my obviously not connected stories together. But to be fair, it's always like I wanted to always put something kind of mysterious in there, so it wasn't like I don't think you guys picked up like why the Blue Horizon Corporation was doing some weird tests on a organic blink space giant humanoid body. I don't know if you realized that that's what was in those caskets, but that's what it was.
Yeah, no, I definitely remember I definitely remember those large humanoids. Like, let's
they're like they were like jet black blink space like compatible humanoid caps, like basically on ice, like basically like that's what they did. Like they all of the a whole bunch of power was used to keep these things cool for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, why? Right? There wasn't enough time to figure it out because you guys are trying to rob the place. But
yeah, we were
that was kind of weird. That was kind of weird. And then it's like, during the why did the Vector bosses use this scrambled NHP that was capable of sending out a like an invasive signal to hijack a ship like during like sublight or like I guess like percent light travel, right? Like they were able to use that, but like who put all these bases here, and why are there a bunch of communication bases orbiting this random ass gas giant in the middle of nowhere that nobody claimed, right? Like nobody claimed that planet. It's just in the middle of nowhere. Why is it there?
I think season 2 is gonna be like when you watch the episodes of a TV show when they start piecing things together. so that when you go back and watch the older episodes, you realize what was being set up over there.
I know, right? Why? Why was SSC there? Why was there an SSC? How did that SSC person know about this base?
Just gonna wait for Vanzel to explain everything to us, and then we'll go.
It's like it's gonna be the Sherlock Holmes moment. It's very obvious. Like, I'll tell you why you're dumb. Like,
look, they ain't got a party full of hammers, all right.
Yeah, you got a party full of hammers and like one wizard who unfortunately couldn't make it today. But yeah, you guys can piece that together as much as you want. Figure that kind of stuff out. Also, Horizon, Blue Horizon is a what should I call it? It was like a military. It does like military grade cloning equipment. I think that's what the science of it. I could probably pull up my notes on it. So like everybody that you were, they're like military grade flash clones, which are actually illegal. But these people, that's the people you were fighting. Yeah. So why would a military grade flash clone corporation have two giant humanoid black, very hot humanoid figures being on ice on this crazy ice planet?
I don't know.
Yeah, they're a genetics corporation. You guys never even found that inside agent that was on that. What happened to that timer? I know, it's just so funny. I know. Sometimes, like, I honestly think that I'm not a very good storyteller. I think that like the story I actually come up with is actually pretty good, but telling people like in the moment of like, hey, pay attention to this thing, I'm like really bad at it until like, I don't know, Calvin, because you take notes, like several sessions later, you'd be like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I gotta like improve my notes, because my notes for this are kind of sparse, because I'm always like scrambling to look at the streaming software, because I feel like if I don't look at it, it'll just suddenly collapse in on itself. Even though like it's perfectly fine, and it's just gonna work. I press the button and it works, but I'm always like, oh god, what if something happens?
What if the stream stops and I don't know? Yeah, man, I totally get it. For sure, right? So hopefully this pays off into something cool. I don't know. Things will probably get weirder and weirder as we go on. So, yeah. I don't know.
And another thing, just another behind the curtains thing, that hopefully I get some feedback on this episode is I was doing the music a bit differently. Because normally what I would do is I would like funnel it through a different audio channel, so I can't hear it on my end, but the audience can hear it. And that was one of those things that was always distracting me, because I was like, is the music too loud? I can't hear it. So I changed it up so I can hear it, because it just runs through the same audio channel as Discord. So hopefully it sounded good to people, because I was more able to directly manipulate, like, okay, the music's too loud for us talking right now, so let me bring it down or bring it back up or whatever. Hopefully that sounds good, because I'm going to be doing that more in the future.
Oh, okay,
just because it's easier.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any other streaming stuff I can talk about. Like, I definitely think like it looks better at this point. I like our layout. I really like our layout. I'm really glad that
the layout's cool. For sure. I think as far as stream goes, as like this game, I kind of want to get some artwork done. So maybe we can get some cool artwork commissioned. And we can figure out, the name of season 2. It's probably gonna be like something simple like UIB 8 Special Agents, or maybe the name of the thing, like, I don't know, Black Eagle or whatever. Like, I don't know.
That sounds cool.
Yeah,
we'll figure out a cool name.
Or hey, if you guys have an idea for a cool secret agent squad, we can we'll call it that if it's good. Yeah. Like, why not?
We'll take suggestions.
Yeah, we'll take all the suggestions, man. It's definitely really hard to make things sound cool. Names are hard. I'm not very good at them.
What about Andromeda's Angels? Does that sound cool?
Andromeda's Angels. What are you, a rock band? Hey man, we're Andromeda's Angels.
You don't
Thank
know
you so
what we
much
do.
for coming out. Let's rock and roll. Like, Andromeda's Angels. Yeah, you guys don't even talk to Andromeda, but like, why was she there? Who else listens to this podcast? I think you're the. I don't know if Corey or Joel listens to this podcast, or Steven probably does it. But like, there's all these questions. I'm like, why don't you guys ever talk to these people? I think it's always just like, let me research about this giant calamari, or like, oh, I have to be a good person, or like Steven is like, I just don't care, or like you're too busy streaming. You know what it is? It's because I gave you a ship, and you're like, ah, yes, I can fix a ship. This is exactly what I want to do all the time when I play RPGs.
Yeah.
Just give me a ship and fill it with a bunch of people I could talk to, and let me go talk to them.
I think next season I'm going to be a bit more like, you know, when you're playing Mass Effect, you have Shepard walking around, making sure there's no new dialogue on the Normandy. That's what I'm going to do.
Sure, yeah. Oh, on top of that, you know, the whole stream, I gave you guys a ship, the SS Adventure. You know, I think as of right now, I believe it's still owned by North Star, IPSN North Star, actually. IPS.
Yeah.
North Star. Yeah. So, you know, you guys have to figure that out. What other cool things are going to happen in season 2? Like, I'm actually getting pretty hyped just talking about it.
Well, don't give too much away.
I know. It's just all these questions need to be answered, right? Did you guys even clue in that Vanzel, Gunnar, and Captain Gunnar have the same last name?
I was gonna ask because I wasn't sure if it was on purpose, because I thought Captain Gunnar's name was one of the ones that you kind of made up at the moment, because I remember us trying to give him like a stuffy mustache guy name. I wasn't sure if that was on purpose.
Yeah,
Because I definitely thought about asking, but then I was like, I don't know, maybe that was just accidental. It's a big galaxy out there.
Like, there's a whole bunch of Mr. Browns out there, so like, it's just like, it's just Gunnar's just a real name. Like,
yeah, it's the Smith of the Lancer world.
Yeah, it's like the Smith, right? It's the Smiths. No, yeah, they are related.
Oh shoot!
That's why I asked for a name. That's why I was like, "Oh, give me a name," and then you guys gave me a stuffy name, and then I just slapped Gunnar at the end of it. Like, it didn't actually matter what the first 2 parts of it was, but I was like, gonna just put Gunnar at the end of it. Anyway, so.
Well, that's another thing we gotta ask her about in season 2, which will be in the future. At this point, we gotta decide like what we want to do next. We've had some discussions, some ideas. I definitely have stuff that I want to do that we talked about at like the top of the year. You know, I feel like the pressure is on me now. Like what I would like to do is I would like to do 8 episodes of something and then go back to Lancer, do another 8 episodes of that, and then keep going from there. But you know, we got to figure out like life schedules and stuff like that, because I can't guarantee, you know, when everyone's gonna be available. But yeah, no, we definitely got a lot of awesome stuff planned for the future. Even if I think we might also, like, just jumping right back into Lancer is also an option.
That's true.
Which would be easier on me, because then I don't have to, like, run a game and stream at the same time.
That's true. I mean, I love running for you guys. I get nervous every time, because I hope you guys are like having fun. Like, that's always a thing that will never go away from me. I'm always like, yo, are you guys actually having fun? And then as soon as like we're all cracking jokes or like making fun of each other, or like something stupid happens, and like Steven is like, oh, that guy has issues. Like, you know, I know that we're all having fun, and then it's all good from here. I hope it translates to the streaming audience, because, you know, I guess, like, I know that a lot of streams out there, they're more on the theatrical side, I guess. Maybe like they're a little bit more in character, there's a little bit more drama. But for us in Wuma Dice, for this Lancer game that we're running right now, there's not that much drama, and I hope people aren't disappointed. It's pretty light around here.
Yeah, we can be the light artist stream. That could be our thing.
Yeah, like this is exactly how we play like every game that's like you know that our gaming group plays. It's this kind of lighthearted, fun, kind of jokey joke kind of deal. You know, we often make fun of each other, and we're all really shits to each other and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I like it. It's always fun for me to run, so hopefully it's fun for you guys to watch. And hopefully you see Lancer and be like, this is a really cool game. I like giant robots. And, you know, you go and support those guys who are producing it and run your own games.
Yeah.
And, you know, let us know about them. That would be kind of cool. I want to hear more about... The more I hear about other people running Lancer and experiencing their games, the more I'm like, damn, like, I have to steal all of your ideas because everyone's so much smarter than me. Like...
Yeah, if you dig giant robots, definitely. We always put a link to the Lancer RPG like site on the Lancer episodes, so you can go and do that. Go pick up your copy. Like I do, I think they still have it so that you can get like all the player side stuff for free, and then you can pay for the GM stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll link to that. You can go check it out. Be sure to give the game a try. Ramon, you have anything else you wanna say lastly on the stream? You gave a few hints about what we could deal with in season 2. Anything else you want to hint at? You want to say?
Yeah, I think this
spoil
one's
who the
gonna
big bad is.
I mean, even if I tell you, it wouldn't make any sense. But I won't because mystery. But yeah, I don't know. Things are gonna get a little bit more tense. You're gonna have to navigate some political waters. There might be some sort of civil war in store. Who knows? Who's truly the enemy around here, and what's going on with the connection with the Megalite communications? They keep seeming to pop up everywhere.
I think the enemy is whoever is stealing natural resources from a planet. So.
Okay, they're Captain Planet.
You leave that water alone. I'm gonna crapple the hell out of you. All right, folks. I think that's gonna be it for this episode of the show. Down below in the description, we will have links to the Lancer RPG site where you can go and check out the game itself. We also have links to the field guide to Umfukane if you want to add a new setting to your Lancer game and new mechs, as well as an LCP file that you can add to your CompCon, which if you're playing Lancer, you should definitely be using. Also a link to some Lancer RPG guides by Celeste, where you can get some information on maybe how to run some NPCs. They're definitely like probably an easier way to onboard yourself into running a game if you have some more information to work with.
Yeah, for sure.
Also,
Also, what, Calvin? Tell us.
Oh no, I was gonna say also Untold Stories Project, where I am there every Monday at 7 p.m. EST playing Mutants and Masterminds. I have to say real quick, the last session of this game that I played, it was probably one of the most fun RPG sessions I have ever played in my life. Without, like, no exaggeration, no joke. We're sort of in the middle of a situation where we're being forced to, like, hop between different TV shows. So we have to adapt, like, different TV genre characters. I just had, like, a ton of fun doing different character voices. It was probably the hardest I've laughed during a session in a while, so check that out for sure. It was just hilarious. I have no idea how that's going to conclude, because now we have to conclude like 7 storylines in one session.
Nice.
But yeah, go and check that out. Especially the very dramatic, like British show. That was a ton of fun. And the painting. Just go check it out.
Maybe I should. I feel like we should do your tell everybody about this like up front, because as you go along, you just get more and more excited like of every time we get a little bit of like what happened. So maybe we should talk about it for like about what's going on in that game, because
we should drag Alex onto the show at some point. I don't know, because I don't want to spoil too much of it. I want people to go watch it and experience it.
It's true. This is true. You hear that, folks? Go check it out. Calvin had a blast. You guys will probably have a blast too.
Yeah, I will link to their Twitch below. You can also find their YouTube channel from there, where they upload like all the previous episodes. So yeah, be sure to check out all of our awesome friends, and be sure to check us out on the Twitter, where you can see notifications about when we have new live episodes and everything, as well as whatever funny Pathfinder memes I happen to stumble across. Check out our website, winwithdice.ca. There's some cool character art there that Steven drew for us, that you can go see what our characters look like. And I think that about covers it. Oh my gosh, wait, I forgot the big thing. Gaming streams. We've been doing gaming streams for the last couple of weeks. There's like 3 episodes of Skyrim up on the channel now that I've been having a ton of fun with. It's really fun just to get in there and play. Their schedule right now is every Friday at 7 p.m. EST, but there may be some bonus ones in the week. I might try to put a more regular schedule out for those. It's just a matter of when I have the energy and when I have the time. I think those bonus ones are going to shift to playing Halo maybe, but Skyrim will for sure be the Friday game. If I can resist playing it until like 3 hours a week.
I don't know, man. Skyrim's a good game, so we'll see.
Yeah, I gotta start doing like longer weekend streams, maybe. And that's about it. We'll link to the Skyrim episodes below as well. And I think that covers all the stuff we have to talk about for the outro. Ramon, anything else you want to add?
All I know is that outro's getting longer and longer. It's because we keep meeting and interacting with cool people and doing a bunch of cool stuff. So it's a sign of good things. So I'm happy, and I'm glad that you guys made it to the end of this video, this podcast, and I appreciate all of your support and love. Thanks.
Yeah. Here's to 60 more episodes. And everybody out there, just remember the most important tip: to keep on winning with dice. And we'll see you next week.
See you guys.